Welcome to the Louder Tales podcast. We hope you enjoy today's show, so sit back, relax, and enjoy. Here's your hosts, Rainbow and Tim.
All right. We're back. Hey.
Hello.
Well, we got a cat ass for everybody that wants to look at a cat.
That's Luna.
It's our friend Luna.
He likes to be in the spotlight.
Yeah. Say hi. Yeah.
No.
All right.
Okay.
So, the last episode we talked about the C word.
Yes.
I'm going to turn my volume up a little bit.
And this is the effing C word today.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can describe it right now.
Is it? Are you doing something? He's just laying there, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
He loves us right now.
So, let's talk about your, let's tell the story about the diagnosis. And we now know that you are...
Well, it's not a story.
Well,
it's a fact.
No, I'm talking about the picture that I'm going to bring up.
Okay.
Guess we should have planned that better.
You know, this is why they like watching us, is because we are not together. We're together, but we don't have it together.
No, definitely not. So, for those of you who have watched us or that know us personally, Rainbow got diagnosed with cancer, and so now we're in the middle of a huge uphill battle, very strenuous and nerve-wracking, to say the least.
I like to say that we're fixing to go on a really bumpy journey, and our shocks just went out. That's the only
accurate.
way.
We're trying to stay positive because we know that, if you're positive about things, that it's better. I mean, nobody wants to be unhappy. I mean, it's bad enough we have to go through it. There's no reason to be unhappy and go through it and suffer. I mean, yeah.
It's hard, and it's hard being in this seat and that seat than it is being in the audience.
Yeah. That was my fancy camera change.
Oh, look at you.
And then that. And I think the two of us is this one. Hey, it is. I've got them figured out.
Good. Yay.
So, because we had to redo all this stuff. Everything is new, and it's not new and improved. I never understood that. Why do they say new and improved? If it's new, you can't improve it because it's new, and if it's improved, it's not new.
Two words makes it better, I guess.
I guess.
I don't know.
It's not like what do they call that? A contradictory, like they joke, an oxymoron, like military intelligence, because military is not very...
They're not very intelligent, so...
They got some cool stuff.
But they're not very intelligent.
Well, some of us. Some of us try to be.
Yeah. There's the occasional.
Okay. So you got diagnosed with... Well, I'll let you tell that part. Why don't you tell Thursday?
All right.
And you tell it in your words.
We'll go back to kind of touch up on the last episode, the C word.
Yeah.
And I got diagnosed with endometrial adenocarcinoma. Say that 3 times really fast. Just say it 2 times really fast.
No.
I did have a radical hysterectomy, or total hysterectomy, on August 13th. And they did a biopsy from that to figure out staging and, how fancy the tumors were, I guess.
How advanced everything was.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that when you have, when you're first diagnosed with cancer, you're not given really information. Like, people always want to know, what stage is it? What's the outcome? What are they going to do? And a lot of times you're just told, at the very beginning, it's so shocking. You're just told this is it. And you're like, what do I tell people?
It's a process. When we were telling friends and family, that's what a lot of them were asking. Well, what are they going to do? And then trying to explain to them, don't know. I have to go see this person. I have to get tested this. And they're like, but what are they going to do?
Yeah.
You know what? I will let you know when I find out or we find out.
Right.
So after the radical hysterectomy, they did the biopsies on the tumors, which they found in my fallopian tube. And I did not have cervical cancer. I had uterine cancer that had started spreading into my cervix. And Thursday, the 29th, was the follow-up for the hysterectomy. And we found out that it's not good news, which everyone was hoping for. I have stage 3A.
Yeah.
Endometrial adenocarcinoma.
I can't say that.
Yeah, it's a hard word to spit out, just not because of all the letters, but just because it's just hard to kind of spit out anyway.
Yeah.
So next week kind of starts a busy time for us. Monday, I go in for a PET scan. I need a higher seat so I can see you, babe. So Monday is a PET scan to make sure that it hasn't spread to any other lymph nodes or any other place in this hole from hips all the way up.
Yeah.
And Tuesday, the 10th, you take me in to go have my ports put in, whatever side or wherever they put it at. And then the 12th, which is our oldest son's birthday, we have our chemo education.
Right.
And then is when, just for everybody who wants to know what they're going to do, that's when we'll find out the schedule.
Yeah, because I've had so many people say, tell me their stories about how a family member or friend or someone that they know had cancer, and this is what process they went through. I've heard some people say it's 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. I've heard some where it's like it's an hour 3 times a week. One person was like, yeah, they just gave me a pill. I took it, and that was it.
Yeah, well, I know I won't be getting a pill. I already know my cocktail.
Yeah.
So I just don't know, because I do like to look on my charts. The one thing about my oncologist and the team is they do not put anything up as far as results until she has spoken to me. Right. That I appreciate, but I can go in afterwards and see. So I know what cocktail so that won't be a surprise. They also did a genetics test for Lynch syndrome.
And I don't think many people know about that. Why don't you tell us what that is?
So I'll have to read it because it's really... Give me a second.
Okay.
You can.
Do you want to... How about
your picture?
How about you pull that up and I'll tell them about the picture. So
yes.
I'll go to me for a minute because the picture's on the... It's weird. You'll figure it out, people. I'll go to us. There we go. So this picture that I'm going to drag over into the screen so you can see it. This is... I took a buddy of mine, Kenny. Shout out to Kenny. He and we went out and I was showing him how to do some astrophotography. I started photography back in 2016, 2017 time frame when I was in Hawaii. It's a great place to start photography because everything is beautiful out in Hawaii, except for the traffic. That's pretty ugly. But, so I was telling him about how to take pictures of the sky and the different settings and the different cameras and whatnot. I happen to have 2 different cameras, both of them Nikon, and one of them was sent out I had it sent out to a professional company to remove the internal filter. And what that does is it's a filter that gets rid of infrared and ultraviolet light. Well, once you remove that filter, now your camera can take pictures of infrared and ultraviolet light. So I had both cameras up where I did the research on this location. It was a very dark area. There's not a whole lot of light pollution. There was not supposed to be anything particular. There was, I think it was the Perseid meteor shower. And then there was also a celestial event that, to my knowledge, still has not happened, but it's the nova, which is at the T Corona Borealis constellation, where a nova that every 80 years it goes through a cycle, and it's literally a thermonuclear explosion in the sky. But it happened 3,000 years ago, and because it's 3,000 light years away, we don't see it until 3,000 years after it's happened. Well, they, scientists, astronomers, astrologists, whatever they are, they do all their studies, and they can see the surrounding areas will do a certain, how they dim and whatnot. Anyway, I'm rambling on. We were hoping to get a picture of this, but what I got was, it was a pretty unique situation. I had just found out we just found out about the stage, and it's absolutely devastating to hear that kind of news when you're hoping, oh, it's stage 1, you're going to be good. And that was our goal, of course, but that's not what was in store for us. So I was debating on whether or not to go out. I want to support my wife, and she said, you know what? You need to get out, because I had been home for, 3 weeks now, and just, we hadn't really gone anywhere. I've canceled a lot of stuff and just trying to spend time together, and understand what's going on, accept it, go through the stages and whatnot. And Rainbow said, go out there and have fun.
Yep.
So me and Kenny went out there, and I'm teaching him how to set all this stuff up, and I think we got a really good shot. I'm going to show it to you here in a second, folks. As we were taking these photos, I'm going to bring this photo over here now, so you should be able to see it. And if you notice, we got a tree in the middle, kind of off to the left, and our galactic band with this like V shape in the center, kind of off to the right. That's what we, from our point of view, we'd call the center of the Milky Way galaxy. And if you follow that straight down and you look, I don't know if I can zoom in. No, I can't. But if you zoom in and look down in the center, that's a cloud. And that cloud has a bolt of lightning coming out of it. That's the only cloud in the whole sky. There's no other clouds. This is a crystal clear sky. This cloud was way off into the distance, and I happened to catch a bolt of lightning coming out. So that's that picture. The lightning lit up the whole area. Something did. Something lit up my area, and Kenny and I looked at each other and we're like, what was that? And he's like, I don't know. And it was like the whole ground lit up. Everything was, it was like somebody took a camera flash, but there were hundreds of them, and they all went off at the same time, and everything was lit up perfectly like daylight, but it was only for a split second. And then it was dark, and this happened like 2 or 3 times in very fast succession, and then that was it. And we're like, what the heck? And we didn't know what it was. It could have been that lightning, but I stood up after that, and a few minutes have gone by, and I'm turned around, and I actually saw a meteor that went, I was facing north, and it went from the east to the west. And as it went across the sky, it was like it started, and then it went across, and then this end finally followed it. So it started as a dot, and then it turned into a long line, and then the rest of the dot caught up with it. And the whole thing was like 1 or 2 seconds. I mean, it was a long, it seemed like it was long, but I mean, it was happening so fast. By the time I said, "Whoa, check this out," it already happened and he didn't see it. But I think the lightning in this photo, in this event where everything lit up, was like a message from God saying it's going to be okay. And just almost like open your eyes, love what's there, and that's it. And it was it just felt simple and peaceful to me. And, we weren't scared. I mean, it was just light, but it was interesting. And I got one of the most beautiful photos I've ever taken in my life. I love this photo. Yep. I'll put it up again for you folks. This is it.
Yep. I told him that was God sent angels to let him know that everything would be okay.
Yeah. And these colors that you're seeing in this photo, this is the blues and the greens and stuff. These are infrared and ultraviolet that the camera can see, but we can't. So it has to falsify the colors somehow. And I thought, well, those are the best looking ones. So that was it. So I just left it. But yeah, that was it. We saw that. That was pretty cool. It was a great experience. Got lots of pictures. Your turn.
Yep, I had it and it went away because my phone.
Oh, all right.
Did okay. So Lynch syndrome, also known as hereditary non-polyposis or POSIS colorectal cancer, HNPCC, is a genetic disorder that increases the risk of developing several types of cancer. Lynch syndrome is caused by mutations in genes that affect DNA mismatch repair, which is the process that corrects errors in DNA replication. When these genes are mutated, the proteins they produce can't repair damaged DNA properly, which can lead to cancer cells developing. So if that comes back positive, or if anything shows up on the PET scan, I will also have immunotherapy. Yay. Oh, yeah. And that's just going to be on top of the treatment, which is a sandwich treatment that they call it. So I will have chemotherapy, then I will have radiation, and then I will have another round of chemotherapy. And it will be at least 6 months of treatment.
That's going to be rough.
It's going to be rough. And on top of that is preparing for everything. And they now have not fancy, but very practical shirts for people who are getting treated, with chemotherapy or dialysis or anything like that. They're shirts that come down, they zip, they show your port, so you're not going under, you're not going up. It's easy.
Yeah.
So,
because like if you're wearing a regular T-shirt like mine, if you got to get to a port, you're doing this, and because the port's usually like,
or you're pulling your shirt up and
something
doing all that. So they've got that, and it's just trying to prepare emotionally and physically, and it's tough.
Yeah.
I had a meltdown today. It's hard. It's not that I'm not being positive. It's just that it's really freaking scary.
Yeah.
This is a pretty scary one for me. But we will make it through. God, my faith in God it's never ending. So I know he'll be right here with us.
Right on.
And whatever plans he has for me after this, it'll come into place.
Yeah. This is one of those where, I mean, we don't know how it's going to end up. We don't know, I mean, our podcast could still go on. It may not. I mean, we could take a 6-month break. I mean, it just really just depends. I mean, I don't mind coming on here alone, like without you. I don't really want to talk by myself. That's kind of weird. I mean, we started doing this with both of us, so I think we should continue as much as we can. And, I think our listeners and watchers and friends and family are going to understand if you're not feeling well that day. And if I do happen to have a guest that wants to come on, I've got people that are still, we're trying to get lined up and arrange times and whatnot.
Yep, they just have to make sure they're sick. They're going to have to wear a mask.
You mean not sick?
I mean not sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me rewind. We just have to make sure that they are not sick.
Right.
And I will have good days. Depending on how my treatment goes, I will have good days. So if, I'm not just sleeping or feeling like getting out and do something that's
right.
not around people, maybe we can come back here and do a quick, we'll just call it the C word series.
See. Right.
But
very much so.
It's, yeah. Oh, and our anniversary is on the 19th. So we will be going away. And a fun fact.
Decade.
Uterine cancer, September is Uterine Cancer Awareness Month.
Is it really?
I just learned that today.
Wow.
Yes. So the irony in that is.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So, yeah. Starting my treatment.
I learned something new.
I did too.
Speaking of learning something new.
Oh, geez.
We need to do a favorite word of the day. I've put some new ones in, so I'm looking through right now. Oh, that looks like a fun word. Oh. Ooh. How about scrofulous? Do you know what that means?
No.
Okay. Scrofulous. That is SCROFULOUS. Scrofulous. It's an adjective, and it means morally tainted. And there are people out there that are scrofulous, and I can describe someone that lied about having cancer.
I just call that shady and petty and evil. And yes, she did. So
yeah. So yeah, if someone tells you that they have cancer, and this person is claiming that they, I'm not going to name names, but we're going to mention that this person said they had cancer, and they had to have
cancer.
It was a blood cancer.
Yes.
And they said, I have to go get a bone marrow biopsy, which there was never nothing ever happened. Mm-mm. There was no, to my knowledge, nobody, that person did not lose their hair. They did not go through chemo. They did not.
She wasn't.
No.
Okay, I'm going to say she.
Yeah.
She was able to go to Disney World. She was able to move halfway across the United States. Actually,
Clearly
all the
not.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was. She said it for malicious reasons.
Right.
And
that's one of the worst lies you can ever tell someone.
Yeah, it is, and it just makes me nauseous. That's all I can say.
Yeah. But there's people out there that are, I forgot the word already. Now I got to look at it. Where is it? Scrofulous. That's kind of a fun word to say.
Her picture
Scrofulous.
should be right next to that word.
I can update my phone book. That's a pretty neat word, though.
She'll have her reckoning one day.
Yep.
There's no sense in us being angry or upset
No.
or even mad at her, because she will have to atone for that one day.
Yep.
It's not our place to judge her. So I had to let all my anger for everybody go.
Yeah, that's something else that's kind of a dead giveaway if you're going to say you have cancer and you're still bitterly angry towards people. Tell us about let me ask you this, and I haven't really asked you this. Now I got to think about what I was going to tell you. What was I going to tell you earlier? I mentioned something.
Oh, about Christian.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you that in a minute. But I want to ask you, because you are a breast cancer survivor, and that was what, 12, 13 years ago? 12. 2012 is when you had that.
I was cleared.
Cleared in 2012.
Cleared.
So
yes. And those have been coming out good every year.
good.
So the girls are, doing just fine.
Yay.
It's her, it's her neighbors down
I like
there
the
that
girls.
started acting up. Yeah.
Girls are fun.
I'm sorry, people.
I'm not.
No, he's not. He's not at all.
So seriously, and I've never asked you this. So when you were first diagnosed with that cancer, of course, terrifying, right?
Yep.
And did you get like this is almost always curable, this is very easy, or what was the diagnosis when they, like, how was your reaction from that time and then compare it to this time? They're two different cancers. They're in different places on your body, and you probably don't have to do the same treatment. I mean, it's a different treatment, yeah?
Yeah. So the first time when I found out, I was by myself. I didn't have a spouse. I had my children, of course.
Right.
I did have a roommate, and I did have a best friend. But when I found out, I went through the stages.
Yeah.
I was sad, but then I was angry. I literally had to go somewhere for a few days, and it was out in the country, and I had to scream. I had to be angry.
Wow.
It was that. And I think getting rid of that anger has kind of helped with this one. And I can't be angry about the cancer because no one gave it to me.
Right.
It is what it is. The treatment last time, I did 9 weeks.
Okay.
And I did 3 sessions a week.
Okay.
And I lost every hair on my body. So
Wow.
I even got pictures to prove it. But I got sick. Anne, my bestie from Texas, she held my hair while I puked in the toilet. I mean, and then Emily, those two were my angels going through that.
So how long did it take for you to lose your hair? Because you said she held your hair when you puked in the toilet. If it was day one and she's like holding it, and then all of a sudden she's like...
Yeah, I went and shaved my hair.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it was bad after that.
Speaking...
I woke up and that's why I say this time I'm going to control it. This is the only thing about this whole situation that I get to control.
Right. And what we're talking about, folks, is we're going to have we're going to have a get together. We're going to have a party, per se, but it's going to be
we're going to celebrate the life of my hair.
And I told you that I would shave my head. it's important for you to understand that I can recognize that you're losing something that's part of you. Your hair is your style. That's how people know you.
It is.
I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like if I come in with a completely shaved head tomorrow, people are going to be like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Because I've always had, except for when I joined the military and they did it through basic training, everybody's head gets shaved. At least all
I've
the
already
guys.
went through the hair loss before.
Right.
And it's just making for sure that I have the headgear, as I call it.
Right.
So it's not a bad thing. I'm not sad about losing my hair. And that's why I said you don't have to shave your hair. I'm not doing this for other people to do that because I'm losing mine.
Right. I'm very like I used to get upset. Like if you go to the barber and they cut your hair and it's all jacked up the next day and you're like, I can't, it's not going to look the way I had it. And it's, okay. I just don't get mad at that because I'm like, you know what? It's just going to grow back. It's hair. Even if it doesn't grow back. Okay.
Yeah. And my hair is not my identity. My smile is, and my hugs.
Yeah. I would say your personality is your identity.
That is my identity.
You have a very, you're very humble, in my opinion. And I think you're very caring and loving. That's one thing. Well, you have to be if you're with me.
It's easy to love you. It's just easy to love you.
Well, I've screwed up a lot in the past, and I'm doing what I can to make sure I don't make the same mistakes.
That's human. So I'm going to show you a couple pictures.
Okay.
The first one is.
Okay.
Oh, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see it. That's good.
That's me.
All right.
See the outfit?
Yeah.
Oh, go. Yep.
Right.
That's 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And you see that right here. All right, I'm trying to go back.
Okay, so while you're doing that,
Yep.
So I'm going to shave my head because I support my wife and I love my wife, and I want her to know that I will go through whatever she has to go through, minus the drugs and stuff.
That's where it was growing back. See, I told you, I look good with short hair.
Yeah.
I do not.
Hey, baby.
Well, I was also really thin then.
I've got some pictures of you when we first started dating, and I was like,
That's when it very first started growing back.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Can you see how thin I was?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
And
You look good.
that means...
I think you look good now.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me tell you this before I forget it, because I'm probably going to forget. Oh, yeah.
There it is.
Yep. That's a good photo.
That's when I weighed like 97 pounds.
God, I can't even imagine.
Actually, I think I had started gaining weight by that point. But yeah, those are...
All right. So my son calls me and he tells me this, and for some reason I thought I told you this, but apparently not. Unless I start telling you and then you're like, "Oh yeah, you told me this." So
I'm just going to let you tell it.
So yeah, I'll just tell you. So my son works like a late shift. I think it's second shift or something. So he gets off at like midnight or 1 a.m. and he's on his way home, or he's on his way to work. I don't remember. All I know is it was after midnight. It was dark, and where he was driving was a road that it was a regular road, like it was a hardball, the paved. But it did not have any of the street lights. It was pretty dark, and he wasn't like out in the boonies. He's just kind of one or two roads off the main area where it's just dark and you can't see anything. So he's driving along the road and he sees something on the side of the road, and he's like, "What is that?" Turns out it was a guy that had gotten hit or hit something. He was on either a motorcycle or a moped, but Christian said he was on the ground and he couldn't move, and he was stuck there because he broke his leg.
Oh my gosh.
And so my son, immediately went up to check on him, make sure he was okay. did what he could to stabilize him, called 911, waited for the ambulance to show up. I am certain that he saved his life, because when you have a broken bone, you go into shock, and then that's it. Like a couple hours, you're probably done. And it was late at night.
It's in Michigan, and it's cold there now at night. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I think this happened in August, so it's probably not that cold in the night, but still, you don't want a broken bone to sit there.
No.
You know, but I was really proud of him for that. You know,
we have good kids.
Yeah.
They have good bones. They have good blood running through them. Some of them just have to pick through the bad blood.
I think we all, they say the frontal cortex doesn't fully develop until you're 25. For me, it's 50. So I got a couple years to go. So.
Nope. Not
Okay.
allowed.
What?
Not allowed.
Okay.
Okay.
You want to do the no smiling contest? This is a game that I play with my kids. I don't remember how this started. Somebody.
I'm already playing.
No, I mean when we were doing the when I started doing the no contest or no smiling contest. I think it started in it was a bank or something. My kids were in public somewhere, and they were just having a bad day. They were upset, whatever. And one of them was like, I'm not going to smile. And I was like, okay.
Wasn't it at the airport when you went and picked them up?
I cannot remember.
I think that's when it was.
But it was years ago. I mean, they were probably 7 years old,
Well,
8
was
years
it in
old.
Hawaii? Maybe it was in Hawaii.
It's possible, yeah.
Yeah.
And so one or both of them were like, I was like, okay, do you want to not smile? Let's have a contest. I was like, let's see who could not smile the longest. Go. It's on like Donkey Kong. You're starting to smile. I can tell. Do it. Do it. God dang.
Still a champion. I've always been good at that game.
All right. You got me that time. It's the only time it's ever happened, folks. And it was on camera.
He's telling a story. I've won a lot. I'm the mom.
No,
it's
that's
easy for me to look grumpy.
I've actually done that with like a stranger's kid if they're upset and the parent's having a hard time. And I go up to the parent and I'm like, listen, I'm going to ask your kid to play a game with me. Just follow along. It's okay. And I tell the kid, I'm like, I heard that you don't like smiling. I don't like smiling either. Let's not smile and see who can not smile the longest. Go. And then the kid starts laughing. And so, the parents, they're like, I needed that, So I try and spread that game as much as I can because it's a fun game for parents. That
game is probably in many households now.
I hope so.
It probably is.
I hope it is. That's
maybe we should make a sign and put in the yard. Let's play the
no smiling contest.
No smiling contest.
I wish there was a more catchy name.
Yeah, we had to think about that.
I don't know. Yeah.
No frowns allowed.
You smile, you lose. I've heard you laugh, you lose. That's like, have you seen the funny videos and what? I showed that one video to you where this cop is chasing this woman and like
yes.
She was running and I kid you not, she literally started running and she hit a pole and the pole was like ding and then like some random person saw it
and busted out.
He just busted up laughing.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah. That's one of those you can't not laugh. I mean, you know what they call that? Schadenfreude.
Yeah.
Schadenfreude, something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
It's a German word.
It probably depends on where
Yeah.
you live on how it's pronounced.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of like the video that I showed you last night of the guy who got his dog stairs up to the bed, and this fat dog made it up to the top of the stairs and was getting onto the bed.
It was so close.
And he just did this and right down the stairs.
That
was my I mean,
Yeah.
I laughed so hard. Our granddaughter's all like, "What are you laughing at? Why are you laughing so hard?"
We like to. I got a video. I wonder if I can do that while we're doing this. It'd take me a minute. I can't really talk, and no, it's a long video. I don't want to do that. I did a video where our dog was sleeping on the couch, and it was upside down. It was like this.
He filmed her for 5 minutes.
It was
doing that.
It was 5 minutes. She was just laying there,
that.
right? And I call her. I'm like, Gracie, and she finally, like, you could tell she was in a deep sleep.
She's ignoring you.
Oh yeah. Well, she's probably flashbacks.
Yeah. She's
So
like, I'm not moving.
She was laying down, and she just all of a sudden she was.
She just stared like, what's going on?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She was like, "What?
What do you do? What?"
Who's
She's
calling
all
me?"
twisted like a
Oh
pretzel.
yeah. And then I finally got her up, and then she just sat there. Just sat there.
Yeah, he woke her up and then didn't have anything to say to her. We
Yeah.
have taught our dog to quiet howl. Yes,
do you wanna
it
try
is
and do it? I don't
possible
know
for a dog to quiet howl. Let's see.
Let's see if we can do it.
Howl. Howl. Howl.
This is gonna get bad.
It is. Howl. 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 She made that out of her.
Oops. You can talk.
Quiet.
There you go.
Quiet. Come on. Good girl. Good girl. That is.
This is.
Yes, that is Gracie's inside howl.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
I don't know how we got her to do that, but it was
She
funny.
does it.
It's funny because, like, most dogs, you get them to bark or howl super loud, which she does that too. But yeah, we got her to.
We'll do that, and we'll be like, "Okay, you ready?" And then we'll just howl real loud, and she gets super excited.
Yeah, and she's super photogenic. I do want to show this one.
Gosh, I take beautiful pictures.
That is one
with
thing.
my phone. He's
Yeah.
surprised that I take beautiful pictures of our dog. It's not me; it's her.
I swear it is, because look
Jeez.
at this. I'm going to show this picture to folks on the screen.
Oh yeah, it's kind of
Is
blurry.
it kind of blurry?
Yeah.
I don't know.
There, let me see it. My camera's not doing it blurry.
There. Oh,
Oh, there it is.
there it is. So she's just loving it, you know.
She is.
She's super photogenic.
She's beautiful. Even
all
when
from someone
she has her
dumped her on the road.
even when she has dirt up past her eyebrows.
Yep.
Because she was digging a hole.
Yep. But anyway,
that crazy?
no, I'm glad that my kid, at least one of my kids is. Well, I know. Ray and William would absolutely do the same thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm almost like a junkie for that. Like there's times where I'll actually get in the car when it's storming or it's raining or it's just the worst weather, and I'll drive around looking for anyone on the side of the road that needs help.
Yeah.
Just to be there.
Yeah, that is in your DNA. So hopefully you pass that on to all of your children.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
all of my children for the most part have it, but Ray and William definitely.
yeah.
And then, of course, our oldest grandbaby, she is that way unless she's here with Nana and Papa. You can tell she's with her mom and hung out with her other grandparents because she's the spoil me and I don't want to do anything. I know Ray's probably struggling with her. But she's, her age.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting in the next couple of years watching Dad. He's going to be calling me a lot.
Oh.
He's going to be just bringing her over, not even stopping the car and booting her out. He's not even going to call me and let me know he's going to do that. And we're going to hear the tires. Yes, he's peeling out. Going faster. Oh my gosh.
Is there? So I remember. So you were telling us, or you were telling me a story about when Ray. Do you want to tell that story?
Oh, so yeah, I'll just do it really quick.
Okay.
So when we lived in Missouri, I was a bar manager, and I lived in the house literally right across the street.
I love this.
And one night, the boys wanted to invite some other boys over for a sleepover. So I'm like, okay. And it was either 6. It might have been 6. I'm getting old. But it was quite a few. So I ordered pizza and, movies, I think. But I'm like, have fun. Don't leave the house. Every time I walked by, it was literally just from here to the wall. And
so to clarify, you worked across the street and you could see your house.
Oh, yeah.
Clear as a bell. You could see in your house.
Yeah.
From the bar.
Literally.
As you were at work.
Literally. Yes. Every time I walked by, there was the window. And I could open the back door in here.
Right.
So I closed up.
Right.
Locked up. And I turned and looked. And my house is really dark. Mm. Well, they might be asleep. So I walked in.
Right.
And I looked. Not only was my house really dark, it was really empty. So I'm the nice mother that I am. I called the cops. I gave them very, very specific instructions that they needed to follow.
The kids, not the cops.
Yes, the kids.
You don't really call up the cops and give them,
sometimes they need it, but at least there they did. No. So I was actually on the phone with the cops or with 911 because that's who I called. We didn't have the call this number if it's a non-emergency way back then. And a cop just happened to be driving by. And I'm like, oh, you guys are here. She's like, actually, no. So I waved him down. And we're sitting there talking. And I'm talking about all these kids. He's like, you mean, the deer that are running through your backyard? And I'm like, oh, yeah, those. So I snuck in the house and I just kind of did like this. Even, needless to say, I surprised all the kids. They're like, oh, shit. Like this. So the cop stayed there.
Yeah.
And I trotted all the kids out. He told them all to get in a line. And he scared the crap out of all of them. Unfortunately, there was one little boy that I had to tell that he wasn't allowed to come over. There was some problems going on at home with him. So, but no, that's when my children realized that I love them, but...
Yeah. Yeah, you got to follow instructions.
It was funny because I think it was, what was it, the next day, he came over and mentioned something about Missouri. I'm like, do you remember when? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Some good times.
My kids were like, just, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bless their hearts. I don't know if they were more afraid of him or of me, though, because they knew I was mad. But, they knew they were grounded for a long time.
Right. Well, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys for tuning in again.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes.
We appreciate. Please like and subscribe. And if you don't like it,
subscribe anyway.
All right, folks. Until next time, thank you. We'll see you.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's show, and thanks for listening to the Louder Tales podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.